From the SharePrices.com.au studios, I'm CJ Dore with another market insight. What we're going to do now is have a look at this downturn that's happened at the end of May. Now, why has it happened? Who's contributed, what stocks, and within which key sectors? So let's get underway and have a look at a chart here. This is the market, the ASX 200, and 3 months worth of movement. So let's look at our date range, starting March 1st through to almost the end of May, May 29, recent times. So let's have a look at our key figures, starting the chart when the market was at 57.04. Then we went up to our high here, and let's look at a key number and a key date. May 1st, the highest point on the chart, and then things started to fall away, and the high was 59.56. So what we know about that figure is it was a 4.4% rise from the bottom left at the start of the chart up to the highest point, May 1. Now, 59.56, highest point on the chart, plus also the highest point in the whole of 2017. If we go back even further, we know it's the highest point that that figure got to, including 2016. Never got that high in that whole calendar year 2016. So a very long, progressive, steady rise with some ups and downs along the way, but including the Trump rally and the banks propping everything up along the way. Let's go back to our key date, May 1st. That's as high as it got. Then things started to fall away. 59.56 all the way back down to the end of the chart, almost the end of May, 29 May, 57.07. So that was a 4.1% loss. So pretty much all the gains from the start of the chart to the high wiped out. So what's so significant about May 1st? What happened? Well, let's go further and look at some of the stocks. Now here's Combank. Look at where the high is on their chart. That's our red horizontal line across there. Now let's measure up May 1st. Look at that. Coincidence? Maybe not. Not just Combank alone, but the big four banks as a whole you can look at often move together. So isn't it interesting though, the day, within days at least, of the market falling away is when Combank started to go on the move from their high down. So let's have a look. May 1st, they were 87.46 as a share price. Now, almost back into the 90s, haven't seen it for a very long time, then fell down under the 80 mark, 78.89 to the end of the chart, all within the period of May. Now that's big news. That's $8.57 off the share price, and that's within a very short time period, or just on 10%, so very significant. Now let's move and have a look at BHP, and we're keeping an eye on May 1st when the market started to fall away. Let's have a look at their high, and it seems to be over left-hand side, left of centre of the chart. 25.75 was the range for BHP there. Let's have a look at May 1st. Now, they were already on the fall. Probably quite a few, maybe even a couple of weeks, it looks like there are a number of trading days. Now, they continued to fall after May, so that would have contributed such a widely held stock and a lot of weight, certainly in the top 10. But look at when they started to fall. It may have been a precursor. Let's move on. May 1st, they were at 23.88. Let's come right across from the May 1st price through to the end of the chart. Now, we know it started to fall, but it rose above it, then went back even and ended the chart 23.04. So just a matter of cents. It barely registers from a percentage point of view, but just a very slight loss. However, they weren't immediately from May 1st onwards, but probably a contributing factor. Let's have a look at CSL here. Now what we can see is a beautiful rise, bottom left to top right. Let's have a look at their high, and it seems to be certainly this side of May 1. We'll find out in a second. May 11 was their high, 135.75 as a share price. May 1st, they were just a little bit further back. Now look at what happened from May 1st onwards. When the market fell away, these guys kept on trucking and went up to and found a new high. Let's have a look at where they ended up May 29. We draw it right across from the May 1st date to the end of the chart, May 29, and they ended up 132.88. Barely registers, just a matter of cents once again. However, we know that most of the action for CSL was after the key date of May 1st when things started to fall away on the market as a whole. So finally, telco sector, and we'll look at Telstra. They've fallen away clearly on this chart. There's their high very early on in the piece of this 3-month sector. And what we're going to have a look at is where they were at up at their high, $4.76. And look at the big gap in the middle there. That's gapping, technically called gapping, where it's not connected to the previous day's trading. And look at the big movement down in the middle here. That's, you might remember, when Telstra just tiptoed across $4 mark before they were on the rise. So let's have a look at May 1, and they were at $4.26. But let's draw it right across here to the end of the chart at May 29. And you'll note that on May 29, they ended up at $4.44. So everything from May 1 onwards from Telstra is above their line of May 1st. So they haven't contributed to anything on the downward movement. If anything, such a widely held stock may have done something, a bit of an effort just to prop things up and maybe make things not as bad as they could have been if they kept falling from May 1st. Interesting stuff, and here we go. What we can see is within that May period, May 1 to May 29, they had a 4.2% increase. So good stuff from Telstra, maybe the saviour from things getting worse, who knows. But what we're doing there is trying to identify who's contributed to the downfall from May 1st, and is it going to build up when we get into June and through to the end of financial year. So go to SharePrices.com.au, have a look at the companies section, Keep an eye on those banks, in particular if you own or hold some of those banks, and see if they're moving together to try and bring things back up, or is it going to be going down and dipping under the 5,700? Interesting times ahead. So there we go with another market insight looking at the downturn at the end of May. Happy trading from the SharePrices.com.au studios. I'm CJ Dore.